Hey guys, it's Greg Jones for Engine Builder, and we are at Summit Diesel in Weatherford, Texas today. And I'm joined by shop owner Alex Null. Between us here is a 5.9 Cummins, and it's our Diesel of the Week.
Engine Builder's Diesel of the Week is sponsored by AMSOIL, the first in synthetics.
Alex, thanks so much for having us in the shop.
Yes, sir.
You guys got a pretty sweet Cummins build coming together here. You were telling us a little bit about it off camera, and sounds like it's gonna be pretty badass. So we'd love to know a little bit more about this customer and how this build kind of came to you here at Summit Diesel.
Yeah, he's been a customer of ours for a long time. We just do maintenance on his two regular pickups. He's got a 6.0 and he's got a 6.7 Cummins. Nice. He saw all the fun we were having racing, and he had the opportunity arise that somebody was selling a truck out of a pasture. And so he bought the truck and then he brought it to us. He was like, man, what do y'all think? I'm like, dude, this is a piece of junk. And he was like, yeah, but it could be a fast piece of junk. And I'm like, cool. I'm like, fair enough. So he dropped off a pretty good sized deposit, and we took him to a few races, said, hey man, where do you see where you're gonna have the most fun? And he was like, man, I really want to be able to race with these guys. And I'm like, all right. I'm like, well, we'll make you a 670 truck if we can do it. And so we went with a Hamilton 188 220 cam. Okay. We did Street Fighter rods. We did ARP, everything, beans girdle. This thing is not going to come apart. The goal we're shooting for is about 1,200. Okay. But his expectation is more at the time. He wants to be able to run in the 670 class. Right. Horsepower is just kind of a byproduct for him. Yep. Which is a lot easier when you're talking to customers. But then, junky truck, he's like, well, I want to open the hood and I want it to bling. I want it to pop. And I'm like, well, we can do it. So we went with a billet valve cover. Yep. We did King Speed billet valve cover, King Speed billet front cover. We're going to hold the head on with some ARP 625s. We don't have a turbo set up yet, so we don't know. We're just going to build it to take whatever we throw at it. Okay. We're going with a Steed Speed T6 gated manifold. Okay. So we can go compounds or big single. Other than that, man, this thing is going to be a beast. I think we're going to end up putting a D&J stage 2 head on it. Okay. He wanted to try to stay with a factory head because we already had one. And so we sent it to the machine shop. We had it decked, we had it O-ringed, we had it ported, we had bigger valve seats put in it, bigger valve springs. And then they went to drill or tap the freeze plugs in the top of the oil galley, I guess you'd call it, in the top of the head. And one of them didn't have enough meat to tap. So they did all of them and got to the very last one, and there's just not enough thread engagement. So now we're forced to buy another head. So now we're gonna. But he'll probably get more out of that. You'll get way more out of a D&J anything. I mean, even their factory head flows way better than a. Yeah. No, they do a bunch of good stuff for sure. Awesome. So all right. So you're mentioning that the customer, you guys haven't really discussed turbos a ton yet. What do you think is going to make sense for the times and power he's looking at? I have a few buddies that have 5.9 engine steel in their trucks, and they're running a stainless diesel 485. Okay. And I think that's going to make the most sense if we're going to go big single. That thing spools up nice. You throw a little nitrous to it, it loves it even more. Yeah. I'm going to push to get the customer into that turbo pretty hard. Yeah. Yeah, and then you mentioned some nitrous. Is the customer open to running some nitrous too? And all customers are open to nitrous, whether they know it or not. Right. No, I think he'll come around. Yeah. A lot of people don't get it at first. I like to use the nitrous as a spool up, and then it always progresses after that. You get them in there, they get up to the line, they feel like it's taking too long to stage the truck. Give them a few bumps on a manual button and it just comes right up, and they're like, oh, I like this. Yeah. Well, then they get a little ballsy. They get out and they hear the other car coming, or they're right next to the other guy, and then they're grabbing that little spool jet and they feel that nudge. They're like, oh, we need more. And that's how you get bit by the bug. Right, for sure.
All right, now, Alex, again, some of this is hypothetical because you haven't quite got there in the build yet, but how about the fueling to support, what he's looking for? What do you think you guys
We have a fast, is it a 240 or a 220? I can't remember.
Okay.
But it's a big fast lift pump.
Okay.
We're going single 14 mil Exergy. And he himself is talking to a few injector builders to see what they suggest for the build. But he's going to end up probably buying too big of an injector, and so it's going to force us to go bigger fuel pump, bigger turbo, possibly even compounds.
Yeah.
But I like the compounds, but I also like the big single.
Yeah.
Big singles engines live forever when you don't slap all the boost all at when you leave the line. So.
Right. All right, so Alex, you guys are an AMSOIL dealer here. I'm assuming that this customer might run some AMSOIL in this 5.9 Cummins. What type of oil would you recommend he run?
We're definitely going with a 1540 for break-in. To break in new cam, new piston rings, all that good stuff. We'll probably run a cheaper, like a Rotella T4 with 2 or 3 bottles of the Lucas zinc additive. Get everything good and hard-faced and everything broke in, and then we'll probably swap to I'm going to talk him into the silver bottle because we will be changing it often, just like our 6.4 engine. In most of our race engines, they get swapped about every 2 races.
Okay.
But we'll run the 1540 in the silver bottle. We get good life out of it. We get good protection out of it. It takes the heat and doesn't break down.
Yeah. Excellent. Very cool. So, Alex, again, you're talking about this guy running in the 670 class, having somewhere in that 1,200 to maybe 1,400 horsepower. Anything else about what you guys are putting together that we haven't quite mentioned yet?
Engine-wise, no. Transmission, I know that he was talking to Unrivaled Diesel about getting a built 48 from those guys.
Okay.
The customer's also building a house at the same time that he's building a truck. So the truck kind of gets put to the wayside every couple of weeks. He's like, all right, let's hold up for a little bit. And, next week we'll throw a little more at it. And I'm like, all right, fair enough.
Yeah.
So I know he's talking to those guys about a transmission.
Okay.
There's a lot of people that make a 48 RE transmission for these, but there's not a whole lot of people that have track tested. Like here's what they can do.
Right. Yep.
So.
Very cool. And then you were talking about his truck just being this, kind of a beater, unassuming truck, but then he's going to have this inside it. So talk a little bit about the truck itself.
The truck itself is an 07 Dodge 2500. I think the original truck was white, and then someone had like painted green over the top of it, like a grass green, not it was a weird colored green. And so he got in it with the pressure washer, got most of the paint off. Well, then come to find out some of the panels were messed up, so he bought a donor truck. And so now it's got a white cab with like 2 mismatched doors and mismatched fenders. I think it's got a red bed.
Yeah.
I think he wants to wrap it all in black and do some neon graphics on it of some sort, but it is a multicolored truck.
Yeah.
But it's going to be low. It's going to be, we're going to do some, probably a 4-link in the rear and leave the front factory for now. And then we'll build it as we go.
Yeah.
As we run into issues, then we will attack the front end. And we are going to run drag radials on it on an 18-inch wheel. Yeah, I mean, that's all I could think of right now.
Yeah, no, it sounds awesome. It's going to be pretty sweet when it's all finished up. So we really appreciate you telling us a little bit about it.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Guys, thanks for watching this episode of Diesel of the Week. Make sure you're checking out everything that Alex has going on here at Summit Diesel. And as always, make sure you're checking out enginebuildermag.com for more great engine content. Thanks for watching. We'll see you guys next time.